Hi, everybody. You know, I was thinking that New Year's coming up. We're right now December 30th, and people are going to be start making New Year's resolutions, and then they don't keep them. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm talking about me too. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be happier. And then it doesn't happen. Or it doesn't happen in the way we perceived we wanted it to happen. This makes us sad. And it's a cycle. It happens every year. We always do this every year. And I was discussing this with a friend of mine earlier. And he brought up a point that wouldn't it be better to have a goal instead of a resolution? No, I didn't look up the meaning of the word resolution. I just now thought of it. You can if you want. Drop it down in the comments. What's it mean? But to me, a resolution is just a promise. Something you vow you're going to do. Now, I don't know what Webster's dictionary says, but that's what it means to me. And to me, a promise and your word is one of the most valuable things you could ever have. Your word, your faith in yourself, your self-love. We give these things away instead of holding them dear as part of what makes us who we are. So why don't we start this year, instead of a resolution, set a goal. I set big goals, or what I consider big goals. Big goals to you might be a millionaire. To me, I'll show you one of my biggest goals. He's sleeping right there. That's Archer, my service dog. For a very long time, I wanted a service dog. I looked at videos online of people who had service dogs, and I'd wish, because I knew it would help. Well, he would help. But they're expensive, folks. You got to pay for the dog. You got to have someone train it if you can't do it yourself. And even if you do, you still need a trainer. So there's money there. The dog itself, you got to make sure it's healthy. So even if it's a mutt, it's got to be checked out for hip dysplasia, health problems that could come up depending on what you want the dog to do. The dog's gear, the vet bills, it goes down the line. And with my disability, I knew I couldn't train them. So I'd have to pay someone to do it. And I got to find a company. None of that's easy. So I had pretty much written it off. I mean, I prayed about it still, but I pretty much decided it wasn't what God wanted me to have, and I wrote it off. Then a friend of mine was getting a service dog, and man, I have to admit to the green monster, I was jealous. And she told me about this company. And she's like, check it out, check it out. So I checked out the company online. And the price when I checked it out online was $2,500 to get the dog. That's a lot of money when you're on a fixed income. When you don't even make $600 a month. At the time I wasn't making $600 a month. That's a lot of money. Plus, we would have to go all the way to Concordia, Kansas, because I couldn't get it. There are places that will give you a free service dog. Don't nail me in the comments. I know they are there. But I needed. There's a big difference between a want and a need. And I don't think we define that for ourselves and our children and society in general. Thinks that a want and a need are the same thing. They're not. I needed, if I was going to get a service dog, going to have to be one with for multiple disabilities. Because I may have a lot wrong with me, but I like to think I have a lot right too. But I needed help with the wrong parts. I can't walk real well. Those of you that know me know this about me. I have cerebral palsy. I can walk, but it's difficult. Plus, I have seizures. It's not epilepsy, but it's related to the cerebral palsy. But it would be a big help if I had forewarning on those seizures and could get to a safe place. Other problems needed help too. And I live near St. Louis. She said where she's gonna live. She's on YouTube. Not supposed to do that. Yeah, well. If someone's gonna want to find you bad enough, they will. But that's my own opinion. Don't nail me again for it in the comments. It's my option. There are places in St. Louis that would give me the service dog. I would still have to go to St. Louis for 2 weeks. I thought, great. But they said they could only train for one disability. There's the problem. I could not choose which disability I want to work with on a daily basis. They all like to come out and play pretty much around the same time. And you can't tell them like you can kids, get in line, one disability at a time, please. Don't work. So I had to find a place that would multiple disability train, and it was in Concordia, Kansas for me. And then I put in the application, still scared and worried and wondering, how am I going to do this? Because even the application comes with a fee. And then they said I could make payments. Right. Not all my family was again on board with this goal. They didn't think I needed a service dog. In fact, I got hurt this past Christmas Eve because he wasn't with me, which is my own stupid fault. And I think it was a good thing. Yeah, I got hurt. Yeah, my foot's messed up and I got some broken bones, but I'm okay. But I think it showed my family that, my brother-in-law and my sister didn't really understand. And I think they understand now. Wait a minute. He's more vital to her than we first thought. Even my mom will tell you now. She can see how he helps me more than, we first thought he would. But how did I get to the goal of the service dog when all this is coming into play? This is a big goal. Now, in school, you learned how to do an outline. So, at the top, put your big goal. Service dog. There. And then underneath that, put an A. And then out to the side of that, what's one step you can make toward that goal? For me, A was finding a way to get the dog in the company. So, company. Under that, put a 1. You know how to do this, folks. We did these in school. Under that goal was another little goal. I had to do the application and so on. And you keep putting it down like in the outline format, which would work best for me. Columns may work for you. Put your goal on paper. I don't care if your goal is to be a multimillionaire, richer than President Trump. I don't care. Break it down into smaller, more attainable goals. Step 1, write it out. Admit to yourself, this is what I want. If you want a Prada bag and that's your goal, that's fine. That's your goal. No one can take away what you want for yourself. And you're the one that knows what's best for you. Find steps to attain the goal. And then I talked to them and I could make payments, which is what I started doing. I had yard sales at Mom and I's house, and I put jars out during the yard sale that if they didn't want to buy whatever it was, maybe they could put a donation in the jar. I started talking to people about my goal. I talk anyway. I never shut up. And people started finding ways to help me. My groomer for my pets, she said, I'll put out a jar for you. And I got donations there. Another woman here in town who was my 3rd grade special ed teacher owns the Art Gallery. She put a jar out there. She held fundraiser parties. They helped me. It took 3 years. And to help a family and friends and my whole town. Because while I had the application in, they raised the price on the service dog to $3,500. That's just for the dog. And then my mom and I have to get down to Concordia, Kansas from St. Louis for a week. I live outside of St. Louis, but we'll say St. Louis for those of you that like MapQuest. And we had to stay there for a week. That hotel, food, gas, all that's on us. And then there's activities that they had planned during that week, like going to Walmart, going to restaurants. You're going to have to put on money there too. And then the trip home. So all told, it was $3,500 for the dog alone, and then totally about $7,000 by the time we were done. And it was a big goal for me. I broke it down. That's why I don't think we should do resolutions but goals, and break them down and talk about them. Write them down. See that goal in print. Stick it on your fridge, stick it on your corkboard, stick it on your computer, stick it on the TV, stick it somewhere. But somewhere you're going to see that booger every day. You want that Prada bag? Look at Prada bags online and you make yourself want it. Because if you want something bad enough, you're going to work your ass off for it. And no one can say if it's right for you or wrong for you but you. I learned goals really early. I had to learn to walk. Not only the first time as a baby, but 3 other times because of my cerebral palsy. When I was 5 years old, I had surgery just before kindergarten started. And I was in a cast and couldn't walk. And this was back in 1980, and I live in a small community, so the school was not set up for handicapped access. And I was pretty much told I had to walk before I could go to school. Man, I wanted to go to school. I love to learn. That was true back then, it's true today. I love to learn. But I didn't want to stand up and walk. I was afraid I was going to fall. I was afraid it was going to hurt. Because I had had surgery, so we knew it was going to hurt. And not being a stupid kid, if it hurt, I wasn't going to do it. 1 + 1 = 2 in my mind. It hurts, don't do it. It's scary, don't do it. Don't push myself. Until they dangled that goal in front of my face. My mom was a single mom at the time. And our babysitter. And Mom had this little powwow. And they decided they would help me visualize my goal. And they put me in front of a window where I could see from my wheelchair that big yellow school bus pull down the yard. And I could see all the other kids, including my own sister, get on that bus. I could see the bus pull up at evening, and my sister and everybody else got off the bus. And they would talk about their day and what they learned, things they did, the games they played, and they went out on the playground. And man, I was jealous. I wanted that so bad. But I didn't want to walk. So finally, after watching them for quite a while, listening to all this and dreaming of my goal, I put my wheelchair at the end of the hall. I dragged myself out of the wheelchair and started down the hall holding onto the walls because I wanted to go to school. 12 years later, 13, never was good at math. I graduated as a member of the National Honor Society. While I wasn't one of the top in the class, I was very proud to walk down that aisle and get that diploma. Because for me, it wasn't just how hard the schoolwork was. The people were the hard part. Kids can be incredibly cruel. Which, that's another video. But I got my diploma. Years later, I eventually went to college. Got my associate's degree. Was started on my bachelor's. I didn't get there yet. Notice I said yet. Never give up on your goals, even if it takes you years to attain them. And no goal is too small. A resolution, to me, is not as attainable. It's something you know when you're making it. Oh, it didn't work last year. It's not going to work this year. But a goal, to me, is totally different. Have goals for your life. One of my goals is laying on my shoulder right now sleeping. And he makes my life incredibly full and happy. I have a life goal. The biggest goal for my whole life. And I've always said if I could do this one thing, my life will have meaning. And I was thinking today, I've already accomplished it. I want to be able to help one person. Just one. And even if no one ever comes up to me and says, thank you, you helped me. Even if they never give me any kind of a nod or whatever, that doesn't matter. If I know I helped somebody, to me, my life is worth it. And I can sit here and think back. I don't have a lot of money, but I have wisdom. I can share it. I share what I've got with as many people as I can. Money, material possessions, a shoulder to cry on, a hug, a life experience that maybe they can identify with. That helps people more than I'll ever know. So I accomplished that goal. Time to make a new one. My new goal, get out of debt. I haven't got there yet. I've backslid. And when you're making these big goals, you're gonna mess it up. That's okay. It's giving up that's not okay. I like to spend, especially if I have someone to spend it on. I do like to spend on myself, but I kind of enjoy giving things to other people. It's part of who I am. It's like Archer. We go to Walmart, my first thought is either paints, I love to paint, or something for Archie. And I get great pleasure in letting him pick a toy out. And knowing that I can supply that for him. It's what makes me happy. That's the key. Life happens. It's happening all around you every second. Find out what will make you happy. I personally don't think material possessions make everybody as happy as they say they do, but that's my truth. What's your truth? What's your ultimate goal? And then break it down. Take small steps to get to that goal. Write out that outline. Write out those columns. Give yourself a written representation of what you want. You want a house? You want a new nice house? Pick out a picture of one you like and cut it out. And you put it with that list of goals, right where you can see it. You make yourself work for that. Don't punish yourself when you mess up. That doesn't help anybody. And it makes you feel terrible. Trust me, I do it to myself all the time. Realize, okay, I'm fallible. I made a mistake. I spent $30 on a movie when I shouldn't have. You know, you're gonna make mistakes. You know, I saw that shirt in the window and I just had to have it. But I cut myself back on my goal of my house. That house that I want. Yet, you get closer to that goal. Maybe you got to get out of debt to get that house. Fine. Pick one bill. Chip away at it. It may take years to get that bill paid off, but you'll get there. And before you know it, you're applying for that mortgage. Ask advice. Listen to what others have to say. Everybody on this planet has advice for everybody else. We can help each other because we're all different and we all go through other journeys. So let's learn from each other. You grab that knowledge. You grab that mentor. I have a friend who's helping me learn money and finances and life. He's a good mentor and he's one of my best friends. I only get to see him 1 week out of every year. But I know he's there for me no matter what. And he never judges me when I have to admit to him, I messed up. I spent $10 and went to Burger King. I like French fries, what can I say? You know, I took my friend out and went to Burger King when I should have paid toward this debt. You're gonna make mistakes. It's how you handle them that matter. And how you handle yourself is the biggest thing. You want that house? You want that Prada purse? You want that service dog? You can do it. I believe you can do it. I've done it. I've met a lot of my goals. I have more to meet. One day, I'll have the keys to my own place instead of paying someone else's mortgage as a renter. And I'll have all the headaches of owning my own home. Repairs, taxes, maintenance, lawn mowing. It can be a pain to own your own place. But when I get there, I'll be ready. Because I don't use idle time. Learn everything. Budget yourself into your account. Pay yourself first. That's one thing I've learned. I do better if I give myself an allowance. Then I'm not blowing other money because I'm so stressed out and I want to de-stress with ice cream or buying a shirt or, whatever, burger, french fries, or however, you de-stress. Talk to others. And don't judge when someone talks to you or you talk to someone else. Don't harshly judge yourself. And you'll get to those goals. You may not get to a resolution if you stick, they've got to have this in 1 year. If I had said I got to have my service dog in 1 year, I would never have made it. It took me 3 years, and I didn't do it alone. It took a lot of people to help make that dream come true. And I learned how to accept help gracefully and to expect a little less of myself. I hold myself higher than anyone else, and I punish myself harsher than anyone else ever could when I mess up. I want to help others. Maybe that's not writing a best-selling novel. Maybe that's quietly walking up to someone and slipping them my last $5. Maybe it's walking up to someone and going, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here. Or making a video. You do you. And you can't not be a success in life. Because if you're a success to yourself, nobody else matters. Except for God. You need anything to talk or whatever, drop me a line in the comments and I'll get back to you. We're here for each other. Maybe not a resolution, because those are easily broken, but a goal and a promise. And that's what matters. We help each other, and we can't fail to be great. I hope you have a good new year, and I hope you love yourself just a little bit more. God bless. And from Archer and I, see, they're my cute boy. Good night.